जेहेतु यहाँ जातीय विमर्श होची मते कहला इंग्राजी रे कहवाई तेणु मुझे इंग्राजी रे कह मत क्षमा करेंगे कहीं मत से डायरेक्शन दिखाई मत कहला जे आई वाज आल्सो टोल्ड टू टॉक अबाउट द पोएट्री ऑफ प्रोटेस्ट अनाम विषय में परे आसबि बट व्हाट इज पोएट्री ऑफ प्रोटेस्ट पोएट्री ऑफ प्रोटेस्ट always spots some weakness in the current events and the current circumstances. There is a whole range. The range can be starting from Kabir, where there is a protest against religious orthodoxy, caste system, etc. And there can be an anti-establishment call to action. And people who have done English literature, they must have read Shelley's The Mask of Anarchy. Shelley was advocating a radical social action and non-violent resistance after the Petrolheim massacre. Shake your chains to the earth like dew, which is in sleep has fallen on you. Ye are many, they are few. But why poetry as such is chosen as a particular art form to express protest? Why not other art forms? It is always very popular to make use of poetry because the reasons are twofold. Number one is it is pithy. Number two, it is very powerful. And it is commanding enough to gather people in the city square, and it is compact enough to demand attention, whether it is read out in a room or it is expressed in the social media. So protest poetry will have to write about what is happening around us. There is no escape from it. And what best comes to me is Faiz Ahmad Faiz, Hum Dekhenge. I have not read out that particular poem because there is no time. And or another poem of Faiz is Bol. Bol ke lafz azad hai tera. And recently, when the CA protest was going on, I came across some of the finest protest poetry. One of them by a very young poet called Amir Aziz. Okay. सब याद रखा जाएगा, सब कुछ याद रखा जाएगा. And similarly, Barun Grover also came out with a good poem called हम कागज नहीं दिखाएंगे. And it resonated with people. So whatever I said earlier, what is the strength of poetry, it is exemplified in these poems. But one thing we can ask, why there is so much of muted anger in these poems? Okay. But the poetry of protest will have to differentiate between a poet and a Nero who played fiddle when Rome was burning. It will have to incorporate truth and project dissent. When fire is raging around in the city or countryside, the poets cannot talk about the beauty of their beloved. So it is something like as powerful, impactful, and directly hitting you will be Rahat Indari's lines. सभी का खून शामिल है यहाँ मिट्टी में, किसी के बाप का हिंदुस्तान थोड़ी है. Protest poetry cries out against the wrong to be corrected. They try to attend to injustice, to the conflict of ideas, and to the relationship of the real and the ideals. Poets voice their own exploration and vision of truth, of the truth larger than themselves. I will go back to Anam poetry here a little bit. Two poems of Kumar Mohanty, Sri Kumar Mohanty. कहना कथा कहले फिटिब अड़ुआ सूता फिटिले गुमर सबुत पिता lagibo pala bandi nei jibo police balare police bala. Don't speak, don't speak. If you speak, it will wind on tangled thread. If the secret breaks out, everything will be bitter. There will be noisy fracas. The policeman will pick you up. You will be picked up by the police. Okay. And there is one more. There is a very interesting thing. Ki nakala bandhu ki nakala, mo paisare mate nilam kala. What you didn't do, my friend, you auctioned me with my money. So, Anam poetry draws upon its own hinterland of literary inspiration. The rich literary heritage of Odisha provides its raw material, but the poet is non-self-conscious. You will find very little cross-pollination of ideas. You can think that it is not a, it is a limitation. There is very little cross-pollination of ideas. It makes use of the local proverbs, local folk tales, local folk songs, and plays on it in pointing it out what is wrong with the society. One is Sankara Shankara Shankara, Sabu Sankara, Mu Sankara Kutu Sankara. I will not translate it because there is limitation of time. This is a hard-hitting indigenous production of a poem. Okay. It's basically telling bastard, 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 bastard. I am a bastard, you are a bastard. And the bastard asks, bastard answers, rest of the world is also idiotic bastards. Okay. So, then there is one more poem. Bhala dese ame bandhibu chalo, jababa mileni khali sualo, koho kaliya, eki karabara, sualo upare khali sualo. We built our home in a strange country. We face questions but get no answers. O Kaliya, that's a reference to Lord Jagannath. Tell us what's going on. We get questions on questions. And just think inside, it is not limited to this geography. It is not limited to that time. It is universal in a manner. Okay. The poets have their own myths to explore. They create their own socio-cultural settings. They either seek the conditions of harmony with the world or spot the conflict with the custodians of power. Here, there is I'll just move away from Mr. Kumar Mohanty a little bit. Manudas has written a very nice thing. It was written only recently. China re China, tu bhalo dekhiailu aina, hatere namari bhatere marilu, baiya helani manisha jatita, bapaku dakuchi bhaina. Okay. China, oh China, oh China. You showed us a strange mirror. Hurt us where it hurts. Mankind has gone mad. Father is being called a familiar brother. Okay. So, Anam poets relentlessly challenge the mechanics of power, hypocrisy, and in the society, hypocrisy in the society. The poems could be written in traditional poetic form, like folk song. And one interesting poem by Mr. Praful Tripathi is ଯେଉଁ ଘର ଆଗେ ଥୁଆ ହୋଇଥାଏ ସାଇକେଲ ମାଳ ମାଳ ସେଇଟା ଶାସନ ଗଦି ନିଦ ଯିବା ପାଇଁ ଭଲ ଥାନଟିଏ ସବୁ ମିଳେ ସେଠି ଖୋଜିଲେ ନ ମିଳେ ବୁଦ୍ଧି. The seat of power is the place where cycles are parked in number. Good place to sleep. It almost evokes a secretariat. You get everything here, but you don't get wisdom even if you search. Okay, so this is attacking the So what they are doing is basically trying to make holes in the principalities of domination. Okay, they're making holes there. Iconoclasm, subversiveness is very much embedded, and individual views marks them, but the place to make them eyeless is filled with meaning, is barely distinguishable from other dots. But it is also real. It allows you to become a fly on the wall to survey the landscape and lets you observe the placement of yours in relation to others. That I find is the meaning of dot. Uh, Manudas, writing on this, नाटक करू करू ढोल फाटिगला बरजाती हेले दोषी राजा पुओ लगी राइजरे मेली कटुआड़ पाए फासी भलाए राइज नीति किए कहे एटी चंद्र उदिया किए कहे निशाराती. There is uprising because of the prince, but the Kotwal is being hanged. The drums got damaged, but the Bharat was blamed. Strange are the ways of this kingdom. Some say it is a rising power, some say it is plunging into dark. It is the explanation of political economy at every point of time. Okay. And so while they're trying to set the wrongs right, they're both angry and encouraging. They're hopeful and desperate for change. Was conscientization an objective? Yes, it is. Is there an attempt for people to spread awareness among people? Yes, it is. But why did this innately musical and protest poetry didn't spread? Okay. There is something called butterfly effect. If the butterflies move in a group and they flutter their wings, in a far up place there is a change in the atmosphere, weather, everything. Why didn't it happen? There are two ways poetry becomes popular. In the olden days, when Ghalib wrote, Dile nadan tujhe hua kya hai, आखिरी दर्द की दवा क्या है, and the minstrels in northern India went around singing, जब आँख से न टपका तो लहू क्या है. So that is what in the olden days that was the thing. In our tradition, playing ektara or kendara, okay, people used to take it to grassroots. But in the modern day, it becomes popular not by creation or more people creating or more people reading, of course it helps, but it becomes popular when critics are there to analyze it, to look at its anatomy, accept it, dissect it, etc. They're like surgeons. They're like doctors. They will anesthetize it, they'll cauterize it, they will surgically tear it open and find what is good and what is weak. That probably we are unlucky in missing out on that. And Dhauli has curated these poems and brought it to the forefront again. It is for the critics to take it forward and find its strength. They will either take it forward or contribute to its comatose state. So I hope such a indigenous protest movement should not be allowed to lapse into comatose state. It is time, it is analyzed, it is discussed, it is deliberated, and is taken forward. Thank you.
Satya Mohanty, से अनाम आंदोलन संपर्क रे आलोचना कले, से बहुत धन्यवाद.